after relaxing safety protocol. 9 banks partner government to roll out U-Start. Daily Guide. Core Mixture Grabs Top Award. New Chief for New Jobbing. Nana outdoors 100 gold catchers. Hajj pilgrims to pay 39,000 Ghana cedis. 8 firefighters injured in crash. I'm told that this the firefighter tender was actually going to a fire outbreak scene and he got involved in an accident. The new Crusading Guide. I will resolve all internal disputes when elected chairman in team to delegates. Arise, Ghana meets IGP over planned June 21 demo. Government committed to promoting responsible mining, Akufo-Addo. Chinese galamsey kingpin caged for 15 years. CID takes over attempted ritual murder case at Oyibi. The Insight. Ex-President Kufuor hails appointment of Dr. Koboy as NHIA boss. Johnson Asiodun-Ketia, General Secretary of the NDC, it says that warns government over conditions that bring about coups. Chinese galamsey kingpin gets 15 years for illegal gold deals. Former NATO military analyst blows the whistle on West Ukraine invasion narrative. COVID-19 cases shoot up again. Accra leads in infection rate. The Daily Statesman. Major projects to upgrade Ghana's energy to take off soon. Chinese galamsey kingpin jailed 15 years. President commissions 100 mercury-free gold catcher. Kamal Guma, I will serve MPP with pure dedication. The Finder. Gridco set for major infrastructure upgrade. CEO. Occupy Ghana demands list of all public lands released since January 7, 1993. Barbara Inkum awarded Marketing Director of the Year at National FMCG Summit. Mercury-free mining boasted as President commissions 100 extraction machines. Business and Financial Times. President inaugurates 100 sets of mercury-free gold processing equipment. Fertilizer sales hits lowest patronage as price shoots up. Tallow Oil confirms merger with Capricorn Energy. And that's it for the headlines of the newspapers this morning. Let's take a break. We'll be back shortly.
In the first 2 years, your baby will experience amazing growth in so many ways. To fuel it, they need the right nutrition. With Cerelac, 1 bowl of goodness a day provides the wholesomeness of carefully selected grains, the Iron Plus, which helps support brain development, and the yummy taste baby loves, assuring you the right nutrition in 1 bowl. Cerelac, it's all good, Mom.
This advert is FDA approved.
I'm tired and frustrated. After meeting all our targets, company cannot help us with our health needs.
Honestly, they are not helping us. Something has to be done about this.
You see, just yesterday I was at the hospital with my wife. And can you imagine the amount of money being charged? So outrageous.
Relax, guys. Just leave everything to me. Today I will deal with him accordingly.
You have to.
I surely will. Today be today. Sir, we want to leave. We are tired. We've been doing everything possible to ensure the success of this organization, but it looks like our healthcare is not taken into consideration. Am I speaking your mind?
Yes, you are.
And that is not fair.
Get a Cosmopolitan health insurance for all your employees today and have an easy life. Call us for your package.
Okay, guys, you are leaving because I have good news for you.
Cosmopolitan Health Insurance, providing the highest levels of coverage possible to our clients.
My name is Acrobatic. People call me Who Knows Tomorrow. I don't want to hide the good things from the good people of Ghana. Let me tell you about watching your favorite kid show, movies, telenovelas, sports, news, etc. and etc. in crystal clear, high definition picture. This year we know come to play. Yo, what's up, people? It's your boy, Mr. Drew, and I'm going to show you how to pause and rewind live TV, and also program your HD Plus decoder to record shows when you're not home. Middle car. HD Plus will take care. Charlie, bring your phone, make a download my HD Plus app on it for you, so you can watch TV on your phone with free data every month.
HD Plus, I'll do what they get you.
Trasaco Estates, home to Accra's most beautiful and luxurious homes, presents its newest addition, Trasaco Springs. A premium master planned community of service plots surrounded by an exhaustive list of amenities. The gated community of Tema to Accra Motorway presents you the finest opportunity to own a land that suits your preferred size, budget, and payment terms. Trasaco Springs is open to you for development. Our on-site sales executives are ready. Call on 055 659 2658.
Ghana for Madam High Sense in you. Yeka High Sense ya. Mwamu nimse eye home appliances a. Efe. Eye papa. Entry power. Ne buwana so dafo. High Sense a ubeto abrochelu. Sa quality na ubeto ni Ghana. And nunti na yenya hoto so ya mau. 5 years manufacture defect warranty. Say a refrigerator. Chest freezer, air condition, television, sound system, water dispenser, microwave oven, blender, gas cooker, electric cooker, washing machine, smartphone, rice cooker, kettle, and iron. Yahu sense you talk. Nasa forma yedi. Enti abuano die. Yesisi no pawo bia. Enti Bora High Sense showroom bia. Say Accra, Tema, Kumasi, Takrade, Takwa, Mankesim, Obuasi, Sunyane, Techiman, Tamale, Hohoi, Kofoidia, Konako Jodie. High Sense. Everyday prices for everyday people.
Burgers for 6. Did you say 6? Open the app. Ding dong. Global. Your favorite moment.
What's your favorite ice cream?
Ding dong. Global.
Go on.
Order what you want. We here bring anything you want. Ding dong. Global.
Order it now. Download the app. Order a Global and we will deliver.
Ding dong. Global.
working as a teacher. We are not where the you'll be there. Come on. Ayapa, I'm a seven. We are some time. The pub wire.
Hello. I can tell you look at you. Na como hama tijuba tijuba pina como sina veza sina gudi tena toha na maala kwa wameza na mnya sara sana kama yote kala tena wapinga na nama machia na konya kwa mapeka tia lokoli ba
Taxi no better yo, taxi no. Oh, bibinin si ani pa o. Ensio pa na to say.
As a result of the construction of 16 state-of-the-art integrated recycling and compost plants, which is being undertaken by government and the Jospon Group, all of which are at various stages of completion, not only will we be in a good position to manage waste effectively, but we'll also be able to reduce significantly the importation of fertilizers into the country. Ladies and gentlemen, I did raise concern at the beginning of my address about the flooding situation in Accra. Government, since 2017, has spent some 450 million cedis on the flood control program, which has resulted in reduced incidents of flooding, particularly in the major flood-prone areas in Accra, such as the Odo Drainage Channel. Phase 5 of the Accra Sanitary Sewer and Stormwater Alleviation Project, which is intended to ensure that Odo Channel is free of silt and debris, has been commissioned. Indeed, the construction of 19 kilometers of drains has been completed, while some 1,000 kilometers of drains have been excavated, rechanneled, and maintained across the country as part of efforts to reduce the perennial flooding of Accra. However, it is obvious from recent events that more needs to be done to deal with the situation permanently. And as has been rightly stated by the hard-working Minister for Works and Housing, the Honorable Francis Asenso-Boakye, Member of Parliament for Bantama, in his address of today, government will continue to work towards the day when Ghanaians, especially those in Accra, will live in calm and tranquility through the rainy season. Metropolitan, municipal, and district chief assemblies have been charged to ensure the obstructions to the free flow of water, as well as developments along waterways, are removed immediately. MMDAs are also to ensure the strict adherence of developers to the planning laws of our country and sanction staff who have issued permits for structures to be built on waterways to serve as a deterrent to others who seek to engage in such acts. To ensure these directives are strictly complied with, I have established a monitoring unit at Jubilee House that will be reporting directly to me on the progress of the implementation of these measures. and thus putting all MMDCs on notice. You will be held accountable for any breaches that result in damage from flooding. As President of the Republic, I will not allow the selfish acts of a few to jeopardize the collective futures of the rest of us. While government does its part, we cannot overlook the negative effects of dumping of refuse into open drains by some unpatriotic citizens. Regardless of the investment that is made in the construction of well-engineered drains, the indiscriminate disposal of solid waste into open drains and channels will reduce our capacity to end the perennial problem of flooding. I urge all those engaged in such practices to put an end to them.
I believe that government prioritizes tourism very much at the counter-terrorism units of the national security. There are 4 key indicators that we use to ensure
state coffers are not spoiled for the party that wins an election, but resources for the country's social and economic development. I shall protect the public purse by insisting on value for money in all transactions. Public service is just that, service and not an avenue for making money. Money is to be made in the private sector, not the public, and measures will be put in place to ensure this. We must create wealth and restore happiness to our nation. We can only do this when we have an educated and skilled population that is capable of competing in the global economy. We must expand our horizons and embrace science and technology as critical tools for our development. We believe that the business of government is to govern. Ours is to set fair rules. We will provide vision and direction and shine the light down the path of our entrepreneurs and farmers.
Government is broke, but people are spending billions to go inside the government that is broke. Have you ever seen a minister who resigned because government is broke before? Government has no money. Have you ever seen a governor who said, ladies and gentlemen, when I was elected, I thought the government had money. Now I discover government has no money, I resign. Have you ever seen it? Government has no money, but they are bringing money out at election time. Where is that money coming from? So they are lying. What is happening is that there are 2 types of wicked people in government. Type 1, they eat current money. Any money they find in government, they will eat it. They are wicked about that one. There is type 2. Type 2, they eat current money and future money. They will say, my term will end next year. When I leave, how will I eat money? Let me borrow money now and borrow money of the future and eat it now.
Welcome back to the program. It's Good Morning Ghana, and this morning I am with the Member of Parliament for Kwadaso Constituency, Kingsley, Dr. Kingsley Nyako, and he's also a member of the Poverty Reduction Committee, right? Poverty Reduction, and there's another committee you're on.
So now, poverty reduction, I've been elevated to deputy ranking, and on education and special budget.
Oh, okay. So you're now on the deputy ranking.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I haven't seen you in a while, so I don't know what's going on in your life.
Oh, no, it was recent. The amendment was made, I think, was it on Friday?
Oh, okay.
Friday also.
Oh, congratulations.
Yeah.
It means that we can trust that you work towards reducing poverty.
Yeah, no, that committee, I remember when we were debating the amendment, I made a point that that committee has to be resourced because of the critical role it plays in society. All that we are doing in this country, in Parliament, is to reduce poverty to the barest minimum, if not completely eradicating it. So my brother, said that that committee has not been able to provide strategy to deal with poverty. But I think that the leader, BT Baba, very dynamic, and I hope that we should be able to give it some form of impetus to be able to help us have strategies to be able to effectively deal with poverty. Because you remember the Millennium Development Goals, MDGs, talked about poverty eradication, SDGs talking about. So poverty is something that is wreaking havoc in societies. And I think that we must all work in concert to reduce it. And this committee, I hope that in the next few years ahead of us in the House, we should be able to do something differently, okay, to let ministries and agencies, those who are responsible in using public resources, to tell us how they are effectively dealing with poverty, because we need to bring it down in our part of the world. Yeah.
Let me welcome the MP for Adakro as well. Honorable Member Kwame Agboja.
Yeah.
Kwame governs Agboja. Welcome. He's also on the Roads and Transport Committee, also on the Judicial Committee as well, right?
Yes, yes.
Ranking on roads.
Yes, thank you very much. I thank God for today, and thank you for inviting me to share this wonderful platform of yours. Good morning to your cherished viewers, especially those viewing us from Adaklu, who regard this platform also as a source of credible information across the country. I want to congratulate my good friend for his elevation to deputy ranking of his new committee. Actually, the committee is, I was reminding them in the House that it's not a poverty reduction committee, because they can't reduce poverty sitting in Parliament. They don't have a budget line that can be deployed to create jobs or do anything. It's a poverty reduction strategy. Committee. So that is why I was saying to them that I've never heard any of them since I joined Parliament, the committee coming up with a single strategy as to how to reduce poverty. So now that he joins as a deputy ranking, I'm looking forward to see how those strategies can help me reduce poverty.
But the committees in Parliament, they are not directly in charge of strategies of policy implementation in the country. In fact, they are oversight. They have the oversight responsibility.
Yes.
So why are you expecting?
Yes. So the title of the committee is Poverty Reduction Strategy. Okay. So it is their job to look at Ministry of Finance, all the things you're talking about. How does that become a strategy that reduces poverty in the country? So it is they who need to be telling us that when we read this budget, 2022 budget, the poverty reduction strategy should have been this, or not enough measures are being taken. But I have good faith in my colleagues that now that we are all trying to do things better, and his involvement in the committee, and I have no doubt that by before the end of the year, I mean the mid-year budget is next month, hopefully, we will see a more focused attention of the committee, because almost all the time what you hear is finance committee, this committee, that committee. But there are other strategic committees, very important, that we hardly hear of. So the opportunity is there. I mean, he is a regular on this platform. Nothing stops him from coming up once in a while to share with you or to Ghanaians what the committee is doing in terms of supporting government agencies to reduce poverty. So I think we're looking forward to doing things better, all of us.
Deputy ranking, let's start strategizing on this platform. You know, I mean, I'm supported. I have ranking and deputy ranking. But you know, when the current situation that Ghana is going through, we've given reasons: COVID, Russia, Ukraine, banking sector cleanup, and maybe other minor factors. When the problems we're faced with, we have the economy. But of course, the economy is dependent on a number of things. And that is culminating into from all sectors culminating into the bigger picture that's affecting the economy. So we are faced with roads challenges, we're faced with floods, which we're currently going through now. We're dealing with Cathedral currently because we're putting money into it. We're putting resources, we're committing resources to it. We're dealing with education matters, we're dealing with health issues. People always criticize the government and they say, oh, the government doesn't have priorities. And when the government focuses on areas, they say, oh, but what's the government priority? And we don't have plan either. In your capacity, where you sit as deputy ranking on the poverty reduction strategy, which area do you think must be prioritized, and explain why?
So let me say a very good morning to your revered and cherished viewers, and those who are also listening to us through other means, especially those from our constituency, quite also. This is a very, very difficult question, and it's also very important. We need to be bold to look at the facts in this country. Over the years, we have been talking about how we do business, trade, and all that. How much monies come to the government in terms of revenues, through taxation, through loans, and all that. 2022 budget projects to raise about 100 billion cedis. We are to expend about 135 billion. Amortization is about 7 billion or so. Interest payments, arrears about 1.7 billion. So we are talking about 147 billion in terms of monies we need to give away. So obviously there is a gap. And how do you fill the gap against competing needs, road issues, infrastructure, education, health, and all that? And if you ask me, these are all very important. You cannot do one and leave the rest, because we need these amenities, these interventions to function effectively as human beings in our society. The human being is composed of 3 dimensions: the spirit, the soul, and the body. And all these things are very important. So you need a spiritual aspect, you need the consciousness, that is the soul, you need the body, you need to have a sound mind as well. So all these things are very critical. That is why the government will always come with a budget, and the budget will spell out how do we allocate our meager resources in realizing these competing needs. So that has been the bone of contention. How do we do this effectively? How do we ensure that the citizens enjoy life through interventions government put in place? And our needs are also, we say our needs are insatiable, So if you meet a particular need, there's also a need that is confronting you. And in my constituency, for example, we have road deficits. Some communities have had parts of their road fixed. Different communities will also be raising issues. So you face these communities' roads. You've not faced those in my community. You build a school here. This community doesn't have a school. Okay, so for me, I think that we need to do more as government to be bold in taking decisive measures in dealing with our challenges. And the citizens also, we must also understand the times and also contribute our quota to helping government to achieve the goods and services that we need. we talk about our tax revenue in terms of GDP, it's about 60%. You know, I mean, within the sub-region, we are one of the lowest. Okay.
Is there a difficulty in revenue generation that's not making us raise enough to satisfy our needs, or we're putting money at the wrong places at the wrong times?
You know, shortfall in revenues is one problem that we need to confront. If you're able to add to our revenue envelope, then the assumption is that we should be able to meet some of the pressing and essential needs. That is one of them. The second one has to do with productivity. On the part of employees, you are paid to perform a particular task. How many of us diligently execute the tasks that we are supposed to do? We are supposed to go to work at 9 a.m. What time do you show up? All these things are factors. My brother and I, anytime we go to Parliament, either I'm number one there or he's number one there. So the point is that we need to also work to increase productivity. We increase productivity, revenue goes up, we cut waste in the system, we reduce corruption. All of us, I mean, if we have a sense of patriotism, as other countries' citizens have, I mean, I think we would have made progress. So for me, these are the things we need to do. Over the years, we've been talking about the fact that we export a lot. No, we export less, we import more. We export raw materials and all that. That story has not changed much, okay, in terms of value addition to the goods that we export to other countries.
So we export cocoa, we export minerals. It's two of our main revenue generation sources. People do minor businesses and, you know, transact international. That is in their own private way. Well, I don't know. What I think is Ghana doesn't have a focus. What's the focus of the country? Because honestly, all the problems that come up, it goes round and boils down to the fact that we don't have a focus. So when a government comes in and thinks that I want to build a cathedral, you have thousands of people that will criticize it because they were not a part of the decision to prioritize. And that's just for example. They were not a part of the decision to prioritize and have a plan in place and said, okay, this is a plan we all have accepted. Party A, Party B, Party C that comes into office, this is what we're supposed to follow. And even on program discussion, it just becomes cyclical, where we come here and sit down and always talk about flooding every year, as always celebrating it. But there is no effort put in place to solve the flooding problem because there's no deliberate plan put in place and a legal framework that will force an authority, even though we don't have the willpower to do it. The legal framework will give you that willpower to do it.
Yeah, but
do you get the picture?
Yeah, I don't know whether you are talking about National Development Plan. The Constitution also is clear. Talking about directive principles of state policy, continuation of projects that previous administrations embarked upon and they couldn't even complete. So the Constitution says that that has to be done. Okay, yeah. But for me, I think that governments have focus. Okay, this government, for example, said that it was going to transform this economy from a gadget-break one into an industrialized one. And plans were put in place. You have one district, one factory activated. As we speak, we have 107 of them, okay, in operation. And that creates about 150,000 indirect jobs. There are some that we see around, okay? So if we are able to establish more of these factories, we are reducing employment. And if their capacity is also enhanced, is also increased, so not to cut you,
I'm not talking about a political party's national plan, which is their manifesto. That is a political party's focus.
Yeah.
I'm talking a national focus. Because if we have the national focus, which of course we've had plans, I think that in the previous administration there was about a 40-year plan template.
Thompson's
committee. I don't know what happened to that plan when this government took over. I remember I once interviewed the NPP chairman who said that the 40-year plan was too long and they were going to cut it into 10 years. And I thought that's really not a problem. If it's 40 years and you want to build a short term from that 40 year, it doesn't really matter. Just get your 10-year plan from that, and then we move on. It becomes a national plan we all follow. So I'm not talking about what the party wants to do. I'm talking about when every government comes in and it's doing, people are not going to stand aside and criticize too much. The only thing we can criticize is that let's see how you're doing it. Let's account for what we're spending on and stuff like that.
Political. I mean, you're talking about a national plan, but I also did mention if you didn't put aside the national development plan, okay, you also have this directive principle of state policy.
Yeah.
That tells us that if you have a program or a project in place, and that project or program is laudable, any other sort of government has to continue with that. Okay, so I think the political parties have that focus. Okay, for example, if we are able to implement the 1D1 F well, if we are able to get more of them and enhance their capacity, and they're able to create more jobs, they are able to add value to raw materials so that we can export them to rake in, hard currencies. I think that we'll be making progress, okay? And political parties everywhere run on manifestos. You vote for the party because of what they said they were going to do. You voted for Akufo-Addo because Akufo-Addo said that was going to make sure that there's free senior high school. That has been implemented. And it is serving very good purpose, okay?
That's by the opinion of the government in office that it's serving a good purpose. I can tell you that even as this government is in office, we have opposition members who say it is not serving a good purpose. It is rather destroying our education. Haven't you heard that debate before?
Listen, in democracy, you wouldn't get everybody supporting a particular agenda. It never happened. Human institutions, even your own family, if you want to embark on an activity, Annie, it's not everybody that will agree with you. There will be dissenting views. But at the end of the day, it's the majority and how useful that intervention will serve. The free senior high school, nobody can convince me that it has not served some useful purposes. Nobody can also convince me that it doesn't have challenges. They are there. That is why every policy is supposed to be reviewed periodically. And I believe that the Minister of Education is thinking about reviewing this policy, because this is the 5th year that the policy was implemented. And every right-thinking government will make sure that it looks at how it has performed, okay? And if there are hitches, how do you amend the hitches? Where there are strengths, how do you strengthen them? Okay, so these are there. But our developmental challenges, okay, hinge on some of the factors that I mentioned. In discipline, on our parts, we are talking about flooding. Government commits resources. People sit somewhere when it rains, dispose of refuse, in rivers and water bodies and all that. Okay, so we also have a responsibility to ensure that we safeguard our environment. Government can do all that she can do, but if we are not cooperative in terms of promoting patriotism in this country, okay, we will always find ourselves in difficult situations. Those who are supposed to enforce the laws, they must also be proactive. You go to some communities, the local assemblies, they have not been able to provide dust bins, okay, refuse bins for the citizens. How do you expect them to dispose of their trash? They can leave them anywhere. But if you provide them and they violate the law, then punitive sanctions can be applied. And with psychology, when consequences to behaviors, okay, are not handled appropriately, that behavior will either increase or decrease. Okay, so if the consequence of a behavior is pleasant, won't you want to continue in that behavior? If it is adverse or unpleasant, you want to quit that behavior. These are things that we need to enforce. And the issue regarding the cathedral and all that. Annie, I'm holding our constitution. The preamble of 1992 Constitution, it says, the Constitution of the Republic of Ghana, in the name of the Almighty God. Our national anthem, the first line, God bless our homeland Ghana. Ghanaians, we have an affinity and quest, okay, that draws us to our maker. So any attempts or decision to have a befitting edifice in the form of a cathedral, I don't think it's a bad idea. Okay, I don't think it's something that we should be overly obsessed with and bastardize it. Okay, you see, in everything, we must look at it from two different perspectives, two angles. The cost aspect is, for me, you can raise issues about the cost, but what about the benefits?
Okay.
We are saying that we are spending about $100 million or $200 million in building this edifice. Have we asked ourselves the benefits when it is done? Can we have some revenue projections that in the near term or long term, we are more likely to get this amount of money that can offset the financial investment that we put out there? In the short term, people are saying that, the poor and all that. I mean, I share in that concern, okay? But the point is that those who are even going to work on the cathedral, there are some of them who are poor, who are going to, masons and all that, who are also going to get something to help their families, okay? So, in a way, there's job creation that will help other people there. Do we know how much money we can get yearly on that? So we need to ask all these questions.
What, the cathedral?
Sorry?
On the cathedral?
Yes.
How much are we hoping to rake in?
Yeah,
the cathedral comes
because it's also going to serve as...
How much?
Sorry?
Do we have a projection?
No, I'm saying that there should be that revenue projection.
Yeah, but if you have a plan, and if you had a good plan at that, you'll be able to tell the revenue projection even now that the cathedral is not up.
But see, I'm not part of the committee for they have.
No, I can understand that, but I'm saying that if you had the plan and all that was spelled out, you didn't need to be a part of the committee, but you still get the information.
That's what I'm saying, that we should be asking ourselves these questions before we destroy it, okay? And so I remember, and some people even say that it was a personal pledge that Akufo-Addo said that he was going to build it for God and all that.
There's not some people that are saying it's Akufo-Addo himself that said
I'm saying that. No, I said Akufo-Addo said that. I remember he said that. So if Akufo-Addo said that he's going to build something for God, and he is using part of state resources to do that, what is wrong about that? When David in the Bible, wait. When David,
the Bible.
No, I bought it because I bought it. You see, when David said he was going to build a temple for God, and God said, no, your descendant will do it. And Solomon decided to do it. In 1 Kings 5 and 6, you realize that the citizens who came together and contributed for its building. At the end of the day, the taxpayers' monies that we are talking about, they are monies that belong to the citizens. In this country, we have a ministry called Ministry of Chieftaincy, Religious Affairs. Okay, so for me, we need to be very careful, and when we are attacking some of these things, I will be happy if poverty is completely nipped in the bud or reduced, okay? But we cannot say that because of poverty, some of these projects shouldn't take place, especially when the financial analysis can suggest that we can have ABC in the long term. So for me, this is how I want us to situate the argument.
But you accept, admit, and recognize the fact that before you achieve whatever you want to achieve in the long term, the short term will actually come first.
Yeah, sure.
Whatever you have to achieve within the short term will come first. So let's assume that you are working with the plan of this government, not necessarily a national plan, but the manifesto plan of the NPP government. What is the focus of the NPP government?
Oh, the focus of the government is to, one,
I want the top priority. Topmost.
One is to industrialize this country.
That's the topmost.
That is what I believe. Per what I've heard the president say.
It's not what you believe. If you
know
what the government that you are in is, what it has planned for, you will know what your focus. In fact, it will be a song you sing by every member.
The focus of the president or the government is to ensure that the Ghanaian live decently, and in achieving that, certain interventions have to be put in place, like making sure that this economy is industrialized.
These are the milestones.
Yes, making sure that we have education that at least ensures that every child gets to school and obtain a certain minimum level of education. Okay, these are the things the government has put in place. And also, we are in the digital world. Government is also ensuring that we digitalize our processes and our activities and all that. When all these things come together, at the end of the day, it's at the center of the well-being of the citizen. That is the focus of this government. And as I said earlier on, you cannot do all these things by neglecting the spiritual aspect of the individual. That is very important. We are human beings, we are also spiritual beings. When COVID-19 was wreaking havoc in this country, Annie and Akufo-Addo put in all the efforts. Ghanaians were saying that, oh, Akufo-Addo didn't do much. It was by the grace of God. Didn't you hear that? Oh, I watch your programs almost every day. Oh, it was by the grace of God.
And people said God. The president didn't do much.
Yes, that. I mean, COVID was well handled. I heard a lot of people saying that by the grace of God. I didn't hear
it on my platform.
Oh, but I watch and I can even mention names people who said that. You know, my regular. I mean,
mention one name of a guest on this platform.
Who said that?
That said that.
It was by the grace of God.
That it was by the grace of God and not the president.
I'll tell you when I'll tell you. So the point. In Ghana, by the grace of God, by the grace of God, by the grace of God. But you want to do something for God, then some people are saying, you know, the mosque at Kakudi Junction was built by the Turkish government for us. The Turkish government used resources in their own country, the taxpayers' money. They used to build the mosque for us. So if we...
What are you saying?
Wait, I'm saying that.
They use their resources in their own country?
Yeah, taxpayers' monies from Turkey.
From their own country?
Yeah.
I mean, yes.
Yes, wait till you get a drift. I'm saying that taxpayers' monies from Turkey were used to build the mosque for us in Ghana. So if Ghanaians even decide that we are using taxpayers' monies to build a religious edifice, is it too much? What will the Turkish citizens be saying?
Do you know what the problem is? The problem is that you are refusing to accept where the criticisms of this cathedral is channeled through. It's not that.
You tell me.
I don't think I've ever heard anybody who is criticizing say, don't use our money to build cathedral.
Oh, I've heard people say that.
No. They haven't said don't use our money. They have said, in the beginning, you posed the posture as though you were not going to use taxpayers' money and that was going to be foreign investors, partners, private sector, whatever are going to contribute, which we even set up a short code for it. And then the arguments came that, but you're even committing our lands to it. So you cannot say that you are not using taxpayers'
Yeah.
money. And then government, came out to say that, well, we're even committing land, so this is not that we're not using taxpayers' money. And then this document of seed money came out, which Okujeto bringing up another money of $350 million. I don't know, 32 million. Yeah. Committed to it already to the contractor. So there's no transparency around, or no clarity. I won't say transparency, but there's no clarity as to how it's going to be built. And you don't think that taxpayer will keep quiet and watch if they know that their finances are being committed to any project, not even Cathedral, but any project.
I don't have any issues with anybody who raises issues. They are legitimate. Questions you are asking, they are legitimate. For me, I know that it's not every criticism that is bad. There are positive criticisms and there are negative ones. Even some negative criticisms can even help you to do something better and different. So me, I support that. People have dissenting views about how things are done. But those criticisms, for me, should not take away the essence and the relevance of a project or an activity that could eventually be something that can even help us in the long run. We live in this country where a political party decided to use $20 million to build a party edifice. $20 million to build a party edifice. National Democratic Congress. As we speak, we don't even know, they've not even told us where those monies come from. But the MPP government has not used state resources to build a national party edifice. But we are saying that, why don't we give something to honor God, our maker? God, whose name is at the preamble of our constitution. Okay, so for me, I want to plead with Ghanaians. I want to plead with Ghanaians that this is not an exercise that is being done to overlook the challenges that we are going through as a people. If you are people who are religious, let us embrace this and support it in the small way that we can. Issues about, President said this is being done. These are issues that we can deal with. And in Parliament, I'm told that Honorable Ablakwa has filed 3 questions. I mean, that is laudable.
For today?
I don't know, because we've not gone to the House, I don't know when those questions are going to be programmed, you know what I mean? So then we will get all the clarity, all questions, and will be asked, answers will be provided. For me, that is, I mean, the way to go. So let us not bastardize this. For me, as a Christian, I will support it, building an edifice for Muslims, for any religious grouping. I don't have any issue with that. But my good friend Abakwa, I read him on Ghana Web saying that because Akufo-Addo is building a cathedral, he won't make it to heaven. And I'm asking myself, does Akufo-Addo know the road to heaven? Does he know the road to heaven? Because Akufo-Addo is building an edifice, he won't go to heaven. But this is the same person.
Are you sure that that's what he said?
I've read
that
it.
Because
he even quoted,
let's take the president's name out.
I read everything.
Let's take the president's name out. That a person will sit and say that, oh, because Annie is building a cathedral, she will not go to heaven. Are you sure that's the logic he applied?
I read everything last night. I even quoted the Bible to even support that. I think Matthew 5:34 or so. I read everything last night. You know.
Ghana Web.
Yeah, it's there.
Okay, go ahead.
Google, you know what I mean? So he made that point. And I'm asking myself, so but the same Akufo-Addo implemented fees in high school, that is catering for the poor. 1D, 1F has given employment to Ghanaians. That is also catering for the poor. Most of the interventions, I mean, he has put in place are catering for the poor. I know some of my friends who Akufo-Addo supported their education when he was not even the president of this country. It's helping the poor. Annie, let me ask you this question. Have you been able to support all the poor people around you? At times when I'm driving, some people, those beggars, they'll come to my vehicle. At times, instinctively, there are some at times you support, there are some at times they even stand there, you even overlook. These things are based on instinct, right? Okay. But they are all poor people. In this life, you know what I mean, difficult to be able to meet everybody's needs based on your budget. But I'm pleading with the government to be more transparent with this matter, because the objective or the object for me is very laudable and is very good. And Ghanaians are religious. Ghanaians will love that. And as you said, if things are done a bit more transparent, I think Ghanaians will support that. Let us all support this, and we should not bastardize this whole
So what we're talking about has to do with Ghana's focus. What's the priority? And from where he's coming from as a committee in charge of poverty reduction strategy, we just wanted to find out if there's any strategy that Ghana is driving on. That's why all these issues from different angles are coming up. But Honorable, please, let me just take a breather. When I come back, Honorable Kwame Agbaja will also take his turn. Back shortly.
In the first 2 years, your baby will experience amazing growth in so many ways. To fuel it, they need the right nutrition. With Cerelac, 1 bowl of goodness a day provides the wholesomeness of carefully selected grains, the Iron Plus, which helps support brain development, and the yummy taste baby loves, assuring you the right nutrition in 1 bowl. Cerelac, it's all good, Mom.
This advert is FDA approved.
Over 18 years in business, Appointed Time Printing Limited has delivered quality service to some of Ghana's well-known brands. With our equipment capacity, we are able to deliver 1,500 pieces of polo and t-shirts in 1 hour. This is only possible with us. For retailers and wholesalers, we offer for sale high-quality polo shirts and t-shirts in different colors at affordable prices. We have a one-stop shop for all creative designs and billboards, 3D signages, flexi banners, car branding, stickers and posters. Locate us at the old GNTC building near Swansea Shopping Arcade, Accra. Contact us on 0501 4541 65, 0501 4541 67. Connect with us on Instagram, Twitter and Facebook at Appointed Time GH. Appointed Time Printing Limited. Our printing is
Burgers for 6. Did you say 6? Open the app. Ding dong. Global. Your favorite moment.
What's your favorite ice cream?
Ding dong. Global.
Go on.
Order what you want. We will bring anything you want. Ding dong. Global.
Order it now. Download the app. Order a Global and we will deliver.
Ding dong. Global.
Obra akoye sa power. Obo anim na anya oda. Daniel chire. Toda said you won't know. Yes, I net yet. The obesusun. Na Diego. Akoye said the water chachan. Debbie Waha, a cosmount. Debbie so dear, a cankwa. Ninyamuno, a dear bako nijina. And yet, then, a dear betching, as I said you.
What do you know? Can you be my rubber show? 3 o'clock.
Obrayoko. What telenovela for cry ya diabani. Gomora. Ye ni juada kopi mfiada. Non son pemo. Wa kwaba magic so.
Brought it to the house, made me put my legs into the shoe, walked around the compound of the house for about 10 minutes. Then he took the shoes from me, went and washed the shoes, to suit them in the chop box. I was not the only one.
Yes.
Almost all my mates.
Your mates.
The first time they wore shoes was at Pember College.
We call him Prof. So he was teaching even my class. He was 1 year behind me. The teachers will call him to come and teach my class. So they hailed us, even though we were poor.
But we still have her memories. I have 3 daughters and I see her in them.
Na honor morning team. On my man, you should meet him in a debut. The on pay challenge.
All the ministers involved, they don't change them, they don't move them. But don't let's turn this into a discussion.
Chairman Rollins told me that I can go and live on top of a tree. I should move out of that house. So I came and told my wife. She said, look, let's move and go and find some top of the tree to live in.
Oh, thank you for that. So that is the children of house number D13, South Suntresu Kumasi, and that is the Ahoy's, yes, that's the Ahoy's and the Dredging family.
Prempeh College too. They went to
Yes, Prempeh College. Why is everybody beating me with Prempeh College everywhere? Just because of the Ahoy's. Anyway, well, so the book launch is coming off on the 14th of June this month, yeah. So that book will be launched. If you're interested, you can actually get some very interesting family there. But let's continue with our discussion. Honorable Kwame, what is Ghana's focus?
Well, my good friend took time to expatiate on his views about the economy, the focus of the government, and his views about how government expends, especially around this time, is quite interesting. And I think it could be in a book for economic students, at least at a basic level, as to when you are in a tight corner, how you spend. I am sure it will be an example of such things. But I agree with him largely regarding issues of when you came in with the issue about flooding and other thing, what's the national focus and everything. The fact is that I always say to people, whenever government says we want to do something, the first thing you need to take is take the budget and find out where the money will come from. And I'm recommending this to every Ghanaian who votes, that the next time, either NDC, NPP, and the ones that will come in the future tell you about any program that is aimed at addressing your problem, the first question you ask them is, show me where the money will come from. If you continue to just do, wear party t-shirt and be shouting, one this, one factory, one this thing, one whatever, then don't blame them when the things don't come. Because you didn't find out. Because if, let's say, I tell you, I can walk to the moon, and you tell me, and you ask me, how am I going to do it? I say, by the grace of God. The people who have gone to the moon, did they go by the grace of God? They went with a rocket. And I don't know how to even throw a javelin. Yet, I'm telling you, I'm going to the moon, and you believe me, that is where we will get here.
Even though they could say by the grace of God.
You see where he started? By quoting that, yes, the beginning of our constitution says that in the name of the Almighty God. He is basically reducing it to the God President Akufo-Addo was talking about in terms of the personal promise he made to God. I'm not sure whether he knows which God he was talking about, because for God to somebody in Malaysia, it is different. Could be God to somebody who is in China. Nobody asked him, and what did you tell God? Where? In fact, nobody even asked him, where did you tell God you were going to fund it from? Because we know you are a lawyer. Were you going to fund it from your practice? Did President Akufo-Addo tell us he was going to fund the construction of the cathedral from the state sources? Did anybody hear that? So when you read that portion and say, in the name of, but what they fail to read is that if you read further down, it says that the principle that all powers of government spring from the sovereign will of the people. So if the will of the people says that we do not want you to fund a cathedral at this time, that is the will of God. So it is not about the fact that in the name of the Almighty God starts the constitution, so you can do everything. But with regards to the drains, Annie, in the 2022 budget, we have only about 425 million Ghana cedi for the whole Ministry of Works and Housing. In the 2022 budget, when you look at a budget line, there's only, for dredging and all those things, there's only 78 million Ghana cedi. And even they call it dredging of White Volta. So even when the president said they spent 450 million Ghana cedi to do something, I asked myself, where did you find the money? Okay. Because I can't trace it to the budget easily. Because I never saw 400 and something million as a budget line for capital investment in the budget. But we can leave that one as well. Because for me, that is how you trace whether somebody is lying. Because isn't it interesting that everywhere the president went was flooded? Yet he says that if not because of the interventions he made, the flooding would have been more. So why didn't he get flood? Everywhere got flooded still. In the past, Ibrahim Mahama actually went and used government equipment and his own equipment to dredge Odo free of charge. These people who are in government now said, why did he do that? Today, you are telling us you spend 450 million Ghana cedis to dredge, yet the flooding is there. The God you say you are building the cathedral for is watching all of us. So that is for the flood. My brother talked about the NDC built headquarters for $20 million. Annie, I wish political parties were like any other organization that everybody can trace the source of their funding. But if I, a member of NDC, and when I file for, to contest parliamentary election, I pay a hefty amount of money.
Okay.
Even at the primaries level, we pay. The same applies to presidential candidates, national executives. So we do pay.
So you generate revenue?
We do generate revenue. People do make donations. I mean, I'm building my party office in Adaklu. I'm not taking it from MP's Common Fund or funding it from the party or anything. So somebody will say that when I use government resources, but we have a situation when the current chairman of NPP wanted to contest, bought 275 when he was a board chairman of one state entity. Nobody can confirm that before he became national chairman, he could afford 3 of those vehicles by himself from his account. But he bought 275 of those. They published that every constituency was going to get one of those vehicles. Whether they bought it or not is another matter. Well, fine. He is saying that he didn't buy anything. We saw them recently. We saw the DC talking about being given a total of her constituency. They're not the how do you call it?
The deputy
300,000 Ghana cedi. She called it COVID money. They are calling it the money from the party or the money for NBSSI. I can guarantee you
they
that.
Are calling it what?
Well, they said it from the NBSSI. It's a fund.
Who said?
Well, that NPP. That is what they were saying. That
who specifically said that? Did they say it on the floor of Parliament?
Oh yes, yeah. They say to rationalize. They said that money is not a free money. That it is NBSSI because during the COVID, government did say that they were going to cushion businesses and other things. But interestingly,
so she collected the money without knowing where it was coming from.
Well, they said they were filling a form. But the interesting thing is that it was not the NBSSI officials in the district or region who were administering the money. The money was being distributed by branch and constituency executives of the New Patriotic Party. As of whether NBSSI is now the New Patriotic Party is now a branch of NPP is another matter. So I can tell you, our national headquarters was not funded by the state. In fact, we've been in government for how long now? 5, 6 years now. It is easy for you to find out how NDC funded our headquarters. And I encourage every constituency to try and raise funds.
But you render accounts, political parties.
Yes. So I don't even know where this is coming from. With the issue of revenue, why we are in this, Annie, I keep telling people Ghana is not broke. Oh. The problem is that government prioritizes, and President Akufo-Addo and others said it in the past. Governance is about priority. So, and as even human beings, Annie, today you may not have all of it, but you know what you are going to spend your meager resources on this month. It is your choice. And a parent today may decide to fund the children's school fees in a better school, not leave that child under free SHS in some schools that the results are abysmal, but to take extra tuition to fund that person, that child's extra classes so that they get a better result. Somebody also can decide to use his or her money to buy better clothes, designer shoes and other things and wear.
Yeah.
That is also his choice. Somebody can decide to drink 10 bottles of beer a day as competition with his pub mates. That is also his choice. Annie, in 2016, the entire budget of Ghana was just about 50 billion. In 2022, it's about 132 billion Ghana cedi. But it is easy to trace what the 50 billion did in Ghana than the over 100 or close to 100 we spent last year and what we are spending this year. So it is not about the fact that we don't have money. And let nobody get confused about this issue about prioritization. What are we talking about? As we speak, Annie, we have a situation where government, for some reason, and I don't believe them, are struggling to even pay salaries. In fact, I'm told that they borrow money to pay myself and my friend our salary. So sometimes the last month's salary would have come the 10th of this month. Sometimes it goes as far as that.
Right.
People are, even government workers' salaries are not being paid on time. We have a situation where NAPCO, all those quangos they created, which doesn't mean anything. It's just, I mean, nobody goes to university to join NAPCO for 700 cedis. It is just the last of the last resort that people do it. Yes, but even 10 cedis is money. But they don't go there to achieve anything. They go there because there's nothing for them to do. National service, struggling. How do you call it? Teacher trainees, struggling. In fact, the last time I was told teacher trainees are even required to bring chair to school or something like that, or furniture to school. And we have in a situation, Annie, we pay taxes today, and let me remind him, with the issue about the drains and other things, every time you buy fuel, you are paying 10 pesos of that towards sanitation and pollution. We are yet to see how that money is expended. Is that what is used to do dredging and other things, or collect the bill? Because one of the...
Don't you have oversight on that?
Oh, well, but you know this
your
government.
Committee.
Yes, we do.
Your ranking.
Yeah, well, I'm ranking on roads and transport. Eventually, all those monies, we'll get to know how they spend it. And the sad thing is that in many cases, they don't spend the money on what they tell us they want to do. And I always give an example. You take 2 billion Ghana cedi from Ghanaians to build roads and that road fund. You only give road fund 1 billion. The finance minister takes 1 billion and spend it anyhow he likes. And he says that it's because we brought a capping act. But the law says road fund is for road maintenance. So I will not be surprised that they take 10 pesos from everybody today on fuel, but you realize that how much is spent, particularly on sanitation and all those things, will be meager in terms of the real money we are talking about. So we get back to this point where we are saying that the amount of money government spends on different things doesn't match what they tell us. So we can leave the sanitation and other ones there. But when we come to the taxes, we want to understand something from government. Is it the case that when Ghanaians are opposed to something, government must say that, why are they opposed to it? I am the government. I am the one who have been elected for, and I want to. I'll do whatever I like. You also talked about how do you call it? The National Cathedral. Interestingly, the cathedral was commissioned by President Akufo-Addo, I guess. It was completed, but I think they commissioned it. The mosque. The mosque. It cost $10 million, as against $200 million or so. We are talking about the cathedral. In fact, Annie, as we speak, no one knows the actual cost of the cathedral. No one knows the actual cost of the cathedral. But surely it cannot be $10 million because they have already paid close to 100 million Ghana cedi. So it is going to be above that. And the Turkish government did not use Turkish taxpayers' money to pay for the construction of the mosque. It was funded by NGOs. I'm told it's Huday Foundation of Turkey. They are represented in this country as well. So if President Akufo-Addo was spending state money to build cathedral thinking that Turkish government brought Turkish taxpayers' money, then he's got it wrong. It was not funded, and the mosque was just about $10 million. But let's come to the crux of the matter. Annie, is it important to recognize the presence of God in our lives? Absolutely right. I have no doubt that my existence here has a reason. And there's a greater being than me. I don't understand everything that happens to me. I don't know why I sleep and how I wake up. I don't think it is a mechanism that I'm in control of. So we all understand the presence of that almighty being in our lives, and we must pay reverence to it. But I don't believe that the God I believe in actually expects my country to fund the construction of a mosque or of a cathedral at the time that there will be a pregnant woman today somewhere in this country, and because of the flooding needed to cross over to the other bank to access a clinic, and can't do that because we don't have access to that cheap compound or something.
There's always going to be.
No, it's not always going to be. In advanced countries, nobody is going to be there, not have access to education or health. It is not true that our problems are always going to be. I don't believe it.
Advanced countries have problems too.
No, the problem they have, if somebody decides not to go to school, but the school, that is a different matter.
Okay.
If somebody decides to drink her lungs and her liver of alcohol and smoke and die, when there's information that smoking can give you cancer, lung cancer, and other things.
But there are people who sleep on the streets because they can't.
Yes, there are people who sleep on the street, but I can guarantee you, every citizen where I've ever lived, even if you sleep on the street and you are a citizen, you can take your dole and go and sleep on the street. Okay. If you are a junkie, you take cocaine, you take heroin, and your brain is screwed up, and because of that, you can't even find your own door and go and stay in a cancer flat. That is a different matter. So when we compare ourselves to, like, even people are sleeping on the street in London and New York, it's a different matter. We are not comparable to them. The problem with the cathedral is this. All of a sudden, you know that the site where the cathedral is now used to house judges. In fact, it used to house, even part of the plot belonged to individuals that I know, whose plots have been taken and today have not been compensated. You believe that there's a God who wants you to deny a citizen of his property because you want to build a mosque? No. I know of a citizen whose private property was taken and yet to be compensated. Passport office has been demolished. You understand? All those things. And when we ask the question,
but we have a new
what are you building? They said it is a national cathedral for Ghana, but being funded by private sector and donations from churches, and then government gives seed money. Then we say, if government is going to give money for this, then we want to know the modalities by which this project is going to run. They said they are setting up a trustee, and then they put together some respected men of God to be the trustees. Annie, the problem started when all of a sudden, we, the people of this country, noticed that a particular organization, a particular quality assurance organization, i.e. Ajay and Partners, who, by lineage is a Ghanaian as a person, but has established and is a world-renowned architect, begin to pick up almost every important project belonging to this government. And then the cathedral came in. In fact, you remember, he even did a design to build a new chamber for Parliament for $100 million until Parliament stopped it. Now, this individual became the one who designed the cathedral. To me, for all that he's gotten and for all that he's done, he could have even provided these services at half the price or for free, if he was trying to return to Ghana and be like patriotic. But guess what? He assembled people, including Ghanaians, and brought his company to Ghana that they want to be the consultant for that. Well, we'll get to know the cost eventually. Now, that organization called Ajay and Partners is the consultant. So obviously, when you are, even the appointment of consultants is governed by Public Procurement Act, whether sole sourcing, selective tendering, and competitive bidding. As we speak, nobody knows how Sir Ajay was selected to be the consultant. But now they are changing the story that the project is not necessarily publicly funded, that government is putting in money, because we've realized that systematically huge amounts of money are being expended from the government chest to pay for this cathedral. The last one was a 25 million. Previously, as Honorable Kujetu said, about 32 million Ghana cedi was given to Ajay. What came out quite clearly was this, Annie. Just as Ghanaians were saying, that is Ajay and Partners a legitimate company to provide those services in this country? They were muddying the water. Nobody doubts the capability of Sir Ajay as an architect to design anything. He's world class, you understand? But even if you are a lawyer, you train, you are the best lawyer in UK or in the United States, and you come to this country, you have to go through a rudiment to be able to be practiced as a lawyer in this country. I trained the same way as Sir Ajay in London as an architect. When I returned to this country, I was made to go through the same process, even sat exam before I became a chartered architect in Ghana. But guess what? It turns out that almost all these projects that have been given to Sir David Ajay was given to him before he qualified to practice in Ghana.
So what was paid to him as
consultancy fee? According to the details, they paid him 32 million Ghana cedi.
Payments. Okay, so payments of consultancy
services
on new bids.
Exactly.
Opening and interviewing of contractors rendered on the National Cathedral.
Exactly. Project. So it is pre-contract fee that he's been paid for. And I'm saying that by law, he must have been a chartered architect in this country. His practice must have been registered to practice in this country before he can get that.
Okay.
He was only inducted into the Ghana Institute of Architects last month by the Minister of Works and Housing. So under what condition was the government of President Akufo-Addo awarding him millions of dollars of projects? In other words, he has taken a job either by giving false information whether he's qualified or not, or the president and his government deliberately gave him job in contravention with our constitution and the Public Procurement Act. So David Ajay would have to answer a question in the future as to how he was able to get a job before qualifying to be an architect in Ghana. Let it get it clear. Nobody is saying that he is not an architect. He was qualified somewhere and have done wonderful things elsewhere. But the laws of this country says that you must be inducted. So when you were just inducted last month, but you have been paid last year for consultancy fee, you see where the problem is for everybody. So we are asking these questions, not because we hate God or because we think that it is not important to have reverence to God in our lives, but because we see a clear breach of the Constitution. On a platform yesterday, one of them told me that, what about the fact that Sir David Ajay, I mean, it's not only Ghanaian architects that can practice architecture in Ghana, and that his company is a foreign company. Well, then they have actually made their case worse, because by Article 181(5) of our Constitution, anytime government enters into an economic or any agreement with a foreign entity, that agreement must necessarily come to Parliament and be ratified. There was no agreement in Parliament to recruit Sir David Ajay to do anything. So that is about the cathedral and other things. So to say that, the other day I saw another interview, their chairman said, a kafo didi.
Yeah.
Damn. Excuse my language. You look into our face.
Let me correct you.
Oh, yeah.
At least my tree is better than yours.
Yes.
Okafo didi.
Okafo didi. Just say, even poor people eat, right?
Yeah.
People who owe it.
Yeah.
I want to ask that senior man, who was a former member of parliament. When you owe your landlord 1 year, and when you set your table in the evening, your landlord, you can't pay your this thing, and he sees you drinking 5 bottles of beer in the evening, and you tell your landlord that a kafo didi. Why am I calling landlord? Because the landlord in this country is the citizens. It's not the president. So when you look into the faces of the NAPCO who can't get their money, you look into the faces of the teacher who needed to travel 5 kilometers this morning to get to where the school is, because there's no accommodation there, and he cannot even get enough money in terms of through his salary because of the inflation and price, other things. When you have a situation where the average worker here salary was increased by a meager percentage, but prices of goods and services and everything have gone up, and you tell them that a kafo didi because you are building a house of God. Annie, Hofebwanyi, have you heard about the name of Hofebwanyi before, President Hofebwanyi? He said he loves God more than everybody in Cote d'Ivoire. So he was building the biggest basilica in the world, bigger than even St. Peter's Square. He actually did it. Who cares about Yamoussoukro's basilica today? It's a waste. It's a wasteland. Millions of dollars was spent on that. To say that, so you think that when you build the biggest basilica, if God actually passes through St. Peter's Square,
justification for us not building ours. It depends on how the leadership drives the usage of the cathedral once it's put up. So if someone's basilica is going waste,
that doesn't mean we shouldn't.
Doesn't mean ours will also go waste.
So why don't we just imagine that government can do anything they like? The point is that we are not in a position to fund those things. So when the contractor, road contractors are owed 10 billion Ghana cedi today, and by the close of today it will increase. The total volume of contracts in the road sector is over 40 billion Ghana cedi. Debt fund projects are over 3 billion Ghana cedi. We owe a lot of people who have completed school buildings in 2015, 2016 who are still not paid. And you tell me that a CAFO Didi, are you not saying that? And then guess what? My brother says that the people working at the construction site there are also Ghanaians. So it is okay. So the guys who have worked for the contractors on the roads, on our schools, and our hospitals who are not being paid, the NAPCO people who have already worked, they are not Ghanaians who deserve to be paid. So when we say that 25 million Ghana cedi could have been utilized well, and your response to us is that a CAFO Didi, you think it's an appropriate response to us? Look, we can do politics. I wouldn't say that the president shouldn't believe in his God and other things. But you can see clearly the deception. And if you're going to build actually the house of God based on what? Lies and truths, which God will even go near that? And that people will come, they will bring some soil from Israel, they will make it a Bible, a Bible museum, and everything that will generate money from it. And you rightly ask him a question. What was the projection? What was the business plan? How much are we supposed to spend? The cost price, the running cost, and how much are we expecting to derive in terms of revenue? That is, if you are looking at it as a tourist attraction. For over what year? Nobody knows the answer. And look, it is easy. This is a very important platform.
I mean, even if it's not the taxpayers' money we're putting to that project, but now we must have the plan for it, the projection of how much we're supposed to spend.
We've gone past that even thing that is not taxpayers' money.
No, I'm just saying.
You've
saying that even if people are donating, you will tell them that this is how much we are hoping to raise. This is how much we're putting to the cost of the building. Let me tell you something.
If you decide to donate your salary today from Metro TV to government, the day that money lands in government chest, it is government money.
Right.
If you decide to donate your salary to government this morning to help them, the day that money gets into government coffers, it is now public funds. The expenditure of that must be governed by Public Financial Management Act and other related acts. So it is not even correct to say that it's being funded by the public or by private donations, so you don't know. When the secretariat is resident under the president. So we are saying that the secrecy, the lies of this, and all shrouded in what? God, because in this country, you can even murder. You can even, in fact, we are seeing pictures on the social media of the guy who was so fortunate enough to receive a chunk of how do you call it? The former General Secretary of NPP, Sir John's will, has been ordained a pastor. So right now, somebody is going to say, "Touch not my anointed," because even if he owns the forest, he's now a what? He's now a pastor, so you can't touch him because we have actually enslaved ourselves. Religion is supposed to liberate us. Religion.
I don't know who is.
Charles Owusu.
He's been ordained.
Yes, I'm told he's been ordained. He can tell you. Maybe he attended the service.
That.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, it's easy. You can find out. I'm saying that religion is supposed to liberate us as a people,
right,
not to enslave us. So when you are a Christian and all you do is, you're actually not serving God. You are actually pretending that God is not giving you the ability to reason. And for this reason, making President Akufo-Addo think that I am building a house of God. The Constitution says that in the name of the Almighty God, before everything starts. So even if President Akufo-Addo decides that the 7 people who were shot dead during the election in 2020, in the name of the Almighty God, let's not do anything, then we shouldn't do anything. Okay, now poor people, in the name of the Almighty God, we won't pay you, so we shouldn't pay them. In the name of the Almighty God, National Service personnel, we shouldn't pay you, let's not pay you. Contractors who are owed 10 million Ghana cedis, in the name of the Almighty God, the Constitution, in the name of Almighty God, let's leave it. In the name of Almighty God, Ahmed Swale, you are dead, but in the name of the Almighty God, let's not seek justice for you. Is that the interpretation of God? Annie, it is sad.
So on revenue generation, let me just pick this. This one says that in over 6 years, private investors with or without the assistance of government have established 107 factories employing 150,000 people. This achievement is so ordinary that we don't need a special program to achieve. I am sure if we go back to other eras, more than that has been achieved. It is mere sloganeering and has become a mockery. You say, you didn't add your name to it, but Okojeto Blackwa says, he says that I have said nowhere that President Akufo-Addo won't make it to heaven. Since when did I become the custodian of the book of life? The ungodly and evil attempts to create malicious fake news to hang the messenger won't succeed. Kingston Nyako should know better. Chumbuafo says that, whilst I will be the first to vow that Dr. Nyako is not an arrogant person, he posits that there are poor people everywhere, and somehow that position should validate the waste of this country's scarce resources on the useless white elephant they call the National Cathedral. It smacks of arrogance to the tone deafness that defies belief. Kafu Didi, Aben Kwine indeed. Mr. Chumbafu, good morning to you. Sylvester Tete, MP, says that, please tell my friend Kwame to stop being mischievous about the sanitation levy. I think the MPs have hijacked the show today. Stop being mischievous about the sanitation levy. The said levy is meant to finance the state-of-the-art solid and liquid waste plant built in all the 16 regions. Now ask him how the liquid waste was treated from the days of independence till Nanado assumed office. That's a question you may want to respond to, but let me come here. Nana Ekuya Boateng Ablekuma Central says that, good morning, Annie. The NDC always pretend to love Ghana when they are in opposition, and I think they are doing well in opposition, so they should stay there forever. The poor are always with us, and the NDC is a vivid description of Zacchaeus in the Bible. Anyway, Nigel could say to Latibio Koshi, events planner. Okay, I don't know what you want to say with that one, but this one from UK says that, Annie, the day and age and on this planet, no politician is talking about a church, house, or any religious building being a priority. Almost everywhere in the world today, governments are embarking on renewal of infrastructures on massive scale. I have not heard a single country except of course Ghana, which has prioritized Cathedral as a much needed item for Ghanaians, while abandoning and ignoring many unfinished infrastructure projects scattered across the country, left to rot. Many of these abandoned projects, when completed, would attract God's favor and approval, i.e. Saglemi Housing Project. For intellectuals in Ghana to discuss Cathedral, Jesus Christ, I give up. So, and please ask both Honorables Abuja and Kingsley why both of them are running away from me. I want them to come to discuss stuff with us in the diaspora. Good morning. This is coming from Mansa Musa, London.
Okay. So well, please. Yes, I do speak to Mansa Musa. In fact, I've been. In fact, I even had my own radio program in London when I was there. So I'm not running away. But look, what we are talking about is not about right or wrong. Yeah. It is about prioritization of things. Right. And I'm saying that for the president and his government to assume that this is the right thing to do at this time, it's just not right.
This one says, good morning, Annie. I think the matter of building cathedral should be simple. Anyone who makes a pledge to God must use his own resources to redeem his pledge. If Dr. Nyako is accusing the NDC of using 20 million to build the office, he is not sure of the source of the fund. For God's sake, this party has been in office for almost 6 years now. Why haven't they investigated the issue if they are serious in government? I think communicators should be telling us the truth and stop defending the indefensible. Some from East Legon sent that in. Let me move straight to
but let me tell you, for what, if it's about God, the fact that because of lack of jobs, and those who even have jobs are not being paid, I suspect President Akufo-Addo is turning a lot more people against God. Because hungry people don't go and sit at church singing joyfully.
Okay, Haji Hamza Pig Farm says, Annie, are you aware state properties were destroyed, including the houses of judges, to make way for the cathedral? Yes, I'm aware. And do you know how much it costs the state? Currently, our judges are being accommodated in rented houses, and new houses are being built for them. These are all burdens on the poor taxpayer. Are you also aware a common stone was imported from Israel for the sword cutting for the cathedral? Why are we doing this to ourselves? This was the promise made by the president to build a cathedral to the glory of God. And if he wins 2020, why should we use poor taxpayers' money to do that now? Annie, I beg.
In any case, the stone from Israel are Israeli generally Christians even? They are not.
Generally, no.
They are not. So you see how far we've gone. You're going to import stone from another country. Just say the same stone God has put in this country is not holy enough. So we need to import holy stone from Israel.
Says that lately, we do not experience heavy downpour. We only experience drizzling for a few hours, and Accra gets flooded. If it rains heavily, that's if it rains heavily. Amidst all this, Akufo-Addo took 35 million from the public purse to build cathedral.
No, it's not 35.
It's not 35 million to build cathedral.
We don't know the actual projected.
No, I've been quiet. Let me. You know, Honorable Abraka, my good friend, I didn't concoct what I said. You read Ghana Web, Monday, 6 June 2022. The headline is this: National Cathedral, you won't make it to heaven.
Who authored the story?
Yes, but you see, let's give
him the I'm an academic. I wouldn't have said that if what he said was not put into quotation marks.
Okay.
The source of the story. Interview he granted to Need FM morning show.
Source of the story.
So he quoted. So backing his assertions, let me be the member of parliament for Northtown, Samakuto Tabaka, says the Akufo-Addo-led government unbridled desire to build a national cathedral as part of his political promises for the country will certainly not please God. Backing his assertions with biblical references, the outspoken NDC MP said, and I quote, Jesus Christ will be much happy if we take care of the poor, unquote. Matthew 25:34 stated clearly the urgency to support the poor. Failure to do that, you won't make it to heaven. He stated in an interview with Need FM's morning show, Ghana Montier. Mr. Bakwa was discussing the release of 25 million Ghana cedis for the construction of the National Cathedral by the Nana Addo-led government. So I didn't.
No, were those his words or quotations from the Bible?
I read to you.
No.
That means that.
Give me the quotation.
The Bible. Even where the Bible quotation was not even accurate, it transcends from the verse 34 to I think 36 or so.
But it's in the Bible.
Yeah.
That if you don't serve me well, you won't go to heaven.
You
and I know that.
That if you don't take care of the poor,
you won't go to heaven.
No. But that's what he said. By extension, that's what he said.
Yeah.
Is that people not taking care of the poor? So has a black card taking care of all the poor people in this country?
I'm just saying that you earlier on said that he said because Akufo-Addo is building a cathedral, he won't go to heaven. And I asked you, was that the logic behind what he said.
That is it.
That
No, but it turns out he was taking the Bible.
Yes, he was talking about conditions that
So,
had not been fulfilled.
No, he said that he is building a cathedral, and he should have used that to take care of the poor.
Do you agree? Disagree with that?
No. And for he not to have done that, he can't make heaven. That's an implication.
But that is what the Bible says.
But that is wrong, because wait. That analogy and conclusion was wrong, because you cannot say that Akufo-Addo does not help. And I gave you examples that Fiscal High School is supposed to cater for the poor. The 1D1 job creation cater for the poor. And I told you that friends that I know that Akufo-Addo has supported when he was not even the president. And I mean, listen, if you want to rubbish something, you can get so many excuses to do that. But for political reasons, respectfully, let us be candid to the truth. Let us be fair to ourselves. My brother and Ablakwa, when I made reference to the building of that edifice at the cost of $20 million, that was to serve the NDC and the NDC alone. A self-centered project. A self-centered project. But this is national in character.
Okay.
So do you have a party headquarters?
We have rented a party headquarters.
Do you pay rent for it?
Yes.
So you are an academic.
You want power in 2009. 2 years later, you built this edifice.
What made you think that
you built this edifice?
No.
Declare the sources of funding for that edifice.
Listen, my brother. How do you fund the rent to pay on your? How do you fund the rent to pay on your?
I'm sorry, but you cannot sit on TV and ask them to.
Annie, let me tell you this. Annie, let me tell you.
Katia was asked this question in 2014 to declare the source. He said no.
I'm just saying
Annie, let me tell you this.
I'm sorry.
The MPP currently is building a regional office for the party in the 16 regions at the cost of probably $5 million.
I'm not aware of that.
Including Volta region.
I'm not aware.
Then how are you funding it?
I'm not aware.
When you go to Trafalgar Hospital, I'm saying
that.
I'm saying not about the comparison. I'm just saying that if a party has built a headquarters for $20 million,
which is even wrong.
Why have you not investigated them?
No, Andy, why are you going to
listen?
Andy.
No,
so I'm saying that.
You see, I'm talking about the focus. You built an edifice 2011 upon assumption of office,
which is even wrong. You said you built it in 2 years. Do you know how long that building has been on site?
I said
completed in 20.
When I'm listening, when I'm talking, take time and listen. I said in 2011, 2 years upon assumption of office, that we began this project. Okay. And
how do you know that when the project started?
No.
No, let me ask. When did you know the project started?
I read an article. And your former propaganda secretary, which is Kwashiga, admitted in 2011 that you built that edifice.
No,
it's not public domain.
I'm saying that
you don't even know your party history. Listen.
My brother. You made a categorical statement that we started in 2011.
Let's move on. Let's touch
on.
It
is quite interesting that he likens the building of the party's headquarters to the funding of this
with NIT FM. Because what his alleged to have said is attributed to NIT FM. So it's not me who is saying that. If he got an interview to NIT FM...
You see, because you said you were an academic, I kept quiet and I wanted you to explain how you understand or understood what had been captured. It says that National Cathedral, quote, you will make it to heaven. Anybody that reads...
Making reference to whom?
Who
won't make it to heaven?
Nanado.
So then what is
wrong? I'm just saying that. National Cathedral, you won't make it to heaven. Ablakwa tells Nanado.
If you read the body of the
what does the column mean? No. What does the meaning of column?
You as an academic, I'm sorry.
What does the column signify?
The column signifies that you are talking about National Cathedral.
No.
Hold on, you are talking about National Cathedral. And there's colon. And the colon is giving you some statement that has come from the discussion of National Cathedral, not so. So it will not be on its own that somebody will say, oh, you won't go to heaven because you're building National Cathedral. The headline doesn't suggest that. The headline says National Cathedral, you will not go to heaven. So it is up to you to read the story. But when you read, you got the explanation saying that he is saying that you have not taken care of the poor. For that one,
the Bible quotation.
Yes, you can debate that. That's a different issue. But it's giving you a Bible quotation, giving you reasons why he is saying that even if you build this National Cathedral, you won't go to heaven. Because what you have to do.
So he has said that. But has Akufo-Addo not brought Fiscal High School that is catering for the poor?
So is that?
Okay, I'm just saying that one can debate that.
His conclusion, the conclusion and the context was wrong.
Annie, don't say that. Doc is on a different planet this morning. Wow. He attempted to say that when NDC members contribute money from their own sources and build a headquarters, it's as equal as President Akufo-Addo making a pledge to his personal God and using state resources to build it. You are an academic. I've never been elected before. How do you make this?
The distinction I was trying to make was that when you got the opportunity
to do what?
To use money, to spend money,
to build something, you decided to build something for yourself. But what Akufo-Addo is doing it for
even the chamber in which you and I will go to the offices we will use today,
national project and a personal project. A national project and
what is national? There's nothing national about that cathedral. It's a personal project.
It's not a personal. No,
it's a personal project.
It will serve a national purpose. And if
what
you
national purpose?
At the
is it a place that we need?
The drawing. Apart from the 5,000 capacity auditorium, it also has a music school. It has a baptistry. It also has a museum. Okay, and all these things are important for tourism. That was why I made the point earlier on that if they had given us the revenue stream over a period, then Ghanaians probably would have understood it even better. But you see, my friends from the NDC, you remember when we were building the Jubilee House, the same objection. Even when the funding came from the Indian government, they were still opposed to it. Anything of national character, and they do this when they're in opposition. They will oppose almost everything. But I'm not against the opposition or their criticism. I believe that you criticize, something useful might come out of that. But we don't have to bastardize a project because we are seeking to win power. That is wrong. And I want to greet my good friend Kodo Chumbafo said that Okafo Didi, and he would prefer Abenkwan. Is that what he said? He mentioned Abenkwan or something. But you see, communication. I don't know why my national chairman said that. But there are others also who have taken positions that are different from his. So why do we want to look at one comment, as a justification to reject something when others have also taken positions that are different from his?
Let's spend some time on this.
He's not answered the question Okujetua Blackwa and all of us are asking.
Which question?
We are not discussing the scope of works of the cathedral. We are saying that you illegitimately paid David Ajay and partners when he was not qualified to be an architect.
Let me answer that question.
We don't have a clear understanding of the start date. Every project have project data.
Let me answer that question.
The description of the project, scope of works, cost. How much it is going to cost, the source of funding and completion date. All these are lacking, and you're not answering the question.
So now he's saying that a Ghanaian who is a renowned architect, who has built monuments, museums, go to Washington, the African American.
I can give you more. I can give you more what you done than you.
But you see, so it's my brother saying that all contractors, who have done one work or the other in this country, have to obtain local certification before they do that.
What does the law
say?
All of them.
Yes.
And again,
once you are going to be paid by public funds,
he's saying Ajayi has been given so many contracts to
before he became chartered in Ghana.
Find out for me. There was this company called Quiros Gavao, a construction firm that did most of the road constructions in this country.
In fact, we are saying
find out for me whether they met the criteria he is trying to.
I'll answer the question. All those companies, include the everyday, they come to Parliament and fall under Article 1815, and we approve them. Quiros Gavao is not doing any work in this country which has not been approved by Parliament.
But he got so many contracts.
But who is talking about?
That's not the point you're making.
No, initially he made a point by saying that
Gavao came to Parliament and was approved in line with Article 1815.
The point is going through the right rudiments.
Have you ever seen
of being paid public funds?
Yes.
What you have to go through as an architect
yes.
in getting a contract from government. That's all.
No. I mean, we'll check what they say. But I'm saying that if assuming that some of these things have not been done, I'm not privy to it. He's an architect.
I'm telling you, it's not been done.
I want that to.
Have you ever seen any agreement including David Ajay before in Parliament?
It's not any agreement that I have seen. You know what I mean? So, but the point I want to make is that we don't have to use some of these reasons because you see, if the mindset, is to reject something, you in most cases wouldn't even look at the good side of it. Okay. Because you decided that from the one when the government even announced in 2018, they kicked against it.
This is what the Constitution says. You cannot bend the law. Okay. Article 181(5). It said this article shall, with the necessary modification by Parliament, apply to an international business or economic transaction to which government
is a loan. It's a loan.
No, this is not about loan.
Compute it.
No.
How it applies to a loan?
No.
Check it.
I said, let me read it again.
I'm
saying that
this is a loan agreement.
Listen. I'm saying let's read it.
Read it again.
The thoughts are pronounced on this. I said, this article shall, with the necessary modification by Parliament, apply in an international business or economic transaction. You are saying that we are going to get revenue.
To which what?
A revenue transaction to which government is a party. So even if government is just listen,
completely
a party, and it applies to a loan. Listen. As it applies to a loan.
So it applies to a loan.
It's down to a loan as well. Exactly.
So two different things.
No. As it applies to a loan. So all those people.
I'm saying that this all those 181 of the Constitution deals with international transactions.
As it applies to a loan. Oh, actually, the loan ones apply here. The loan ones are a different article.
Start from Clause 1. You read all of them.
I said the courts are pronounced on this.
Okay, we will get into that. But
so you are putting David Ajay into trouble.
Let's pick this story.
The
paramount chief, the paramount chief at the Agbogbom affair of the Asogli State.
No, paramount chief of Asogli State.
Asogli State.
His title is Agbogbom affair.
Okay. And so end the Agbogbom affair. Okay, of Asogli State. Togbi. I've heard it.
You need an network dictionary in the form of a human being.
Has returned the 392.67 Ghana cedis paid to him as ex-gratia by the state for serving on the Council of State between 2017 and 2020. The businessman, in a statement, said he does not. I think the statement is there, so you can project it just on the screen. The statement that he does not think it is appropriate to be paid ex-gratia since he was paid monthly for serving on the Council of State. In a statement, Toby Afede says that he is against the payment of ex-gratia and has been looking for ways to returning monies when he was notified, or return the money when he was notified that it had been paid to him. Unless grant share payment is an amount of money that you would receive by your employer as a termination payment when you have end your employment, blah blah blah. Okay, so the statement is there, but for the sake of time, I think you have copies of it.
Yes.
Yeah. So quickly, let me start off with Honorable Kinsey.
Yeah. Okay. So before I even deal with that, let me clear two quick issues. The first one has to deal with Fredibly buying vehicles for the regions, so that is not going to happen. So I just want to put that one on record.
Right.
And the MBSSI, those monies were given to persons during the COVID period, businesses and all that. So I also want to set that record straight. So yeah, I came here and I saw the refund of the payment of Ex-gratia, and I don't know much about that. I don't know what triggered that. I don't know the rationale, but he is saying that he feels those monies are huge. I don't know the practice, and I think that we should find out whether the Council of State is entitled to that. I mean, if something has to be done with that, for me, we should look at all these things, all these payments to people who serve the state, you know.
So he actually said that I want to add that my rejection of the payment was consistent with my general abhorrence of the payment of huge ex-gratia and other outrageous benefits to people who have, I don't know what is written here, by their own violation offered to serve our poor country.
Yeah, so he is not against payment of ex-gratia, but huge ones.
No, he doesn't support it because he rejected it because he says that he has received salaries.
No, I'm looking at the sentence and how it was couched. He said, I want to add that my rejection of the payment was consistent with my general abhorrence of the payment of huge ex-gratia. So if he had left out the huge and it was left only the ex-gratia, it would be different. So I don't know the import, but my understanding is that he is against huge ex-gratia, not ex-gratia. That's my thinking. And also outrageous benefits to people who have willingly opted to serve the state and all that. I mean, this is a personal principle, and I think that on the face value, I think it is something that is noteworthy, but we have served in other capacities in this country before. I don't know those capacities, the benefits and all that, that if he is doing this, then I think that for me to come to a determinate and convincing conclusion, even though I feel that on the face of it, it is something commendable, his past activities, okay, on other boards and government institutions must be known so that you can trace the consistency. As a psychologist, one thing I know is that consistency of behavior is very important. It shouldn't be one of something, unless that one of is a tipping point of changing a particular behavior. But we want to see a certain pattern. How consistent? Have there been other instances where outrageous benefits have been offered and rejected? Okay, if we can trade that line, then we say that, oh, there is something cool. And I think that as government or public servants, we must emulate the practice of service and sacrifice. We come to a point whereby you do something for the love of it, that intrinsic motivation, because you love it, because you are serving your country, with or without reward. Okay, I think we must all get some of these virtues, and they will help us. Okay, and government, I think, must also look into it. I sent it to somebody I know on the Council of State for their reaction, but the person has not responded. I think I'll wait and get further
particulars.
information.
So the
further and
amount
better
is
particulars.
365,392.67 Ghana cedis.
Yeah. So I think that on the face of it, I think it is something noteworthy. But we need to go into details to track the consistency in that.
Yeah, first of all, let me just restate as he did by saying that the issue with your national chairman, if you remember, the purchase of the 275 vehicles became even an issue in your own party, where constituencies were calling for the vehicle because they didn't see it. If you remember, Honorable Amidu even have to start investigation into that matter. So it was a fact that there was that issue.
He promised.
He pronounced it, but he didn't.
He promised that he
couldn't
was
actualize
going
it.
to.
Okay, he said he pronounced it, but he couldn't actualize it. But
I remember.
So trying to equalize this by saying, listen, okay. The last one is that for public education, the issues about what Parliament approves in terms of loan and economic activity, because you see, it's not government doesn't necessarily take loan. Government can grant you opportunity to do something that can generate economic activity, but the government is not necessarily taking loan. That is why you need to read Article 108, 178, and 181 fully. That is why this particular Article 1815 was specific, so that it is not only when it is a loan that you need to come to Parliament. We still maintain that all projects given to David Ajay before his qualification to practice in architecture in this country were illegal and were not consistent with Article 1815. And it's not personal. It has nothing to do with his stature in the world in terms of qualification. He's 1,000 miles away from me in terms of what he's done in his life. He's a world-renowned architect, but the Constitution of Ghana does not say that a world-renowned architect can breach even the smallest law in our country. With regard to Toby Afede, I mean, he's a role model. I've listened to him personally many times. People don't realize that much of what we call data bank today and all those things, they were the foundation members of data bank before he went away and set up his, strategic African securities. And since then, he's been consistent, he's been a private person, and actually a true Ghanaian. When you see what's happening at Asogli Power Plant today, it's one of the first private individuals to team up with people to generate electricity power for us today. When you say African World Airlines today, those were part of, and a lot of things. In fact, he's done things that maybe 90% of us in politics have never done in our private life to help people. And he says that, in his view, he doesn't fear serving our country, but he feels that when he was serving, he was paid salaries. And he doesn't think he deserves ex-gratia. But there's a line in there in paragraph 3, if you read. Yeah. And he says that, and that paragraph says that, I thought that extra payment was inappropriate for a short, effectively part-time work.
Okay, I thought.
So
the second line in the paragraph.
It's a short part-time work. But he says that he did not see that, so he's saying that he did not see that work as a full-time work deserving of an ex-gratia. So he qualifies it. It doesn't mean that if somebody have actually effectively served the state for a period of time, we all have our views about this. And you and I have our views that as we are in Parliament today, we are being paid salary based on what? The emolument committee set up by President Akufo-Addo in his first term. So we are being paid on account. It may come and every Ghanaian worker who draws salary from the national pay got an increase, isn't it? Whether 4% or something. So unfortunately, the Constitution says that it's only the president that can set up a committee to review the emolument of Article 78 people. As of whether it is appropriate to have Article 70, that article in our Constitution at all, is a different matter. But it says that Parliament, we cannot determine our own salary. It has to be determined by a committee. So he says that by principle, what he's done and took salary for it, that's enough for him. He thought the work was even part-time. But you and I don't do part-time work. We do full-time work as a distance. So I agree with Togbe entirely. Should we come to a point where we stop paying ex-gratia? Yes. Pay everybody exactly what they earn, and when they are leaving, let them go. I agree to that. So I don't think he said anything which is inconsistent. He's held that belief, and he's also shown that there are other ways that...
What's the justification for ex-gratia?
Well, like I just gave you, they call it ex-gratia, but in my view, part of what I should earn today as a member of Parliament, and I've said it time and again, I earn 13,600 cedis. That is before I have to pay my driver, anybody I employ, and they don't pay me. I have to buy my own fuel and everything. And anybody who will get a memo from me today for headache or anything will have to come from that money. And that salary is based on the previous emolument committee set up by President Akufo-Addo in his first term. That committee should determine what I get today, but that committee is not yet set up. Whenever that committee is set up, and not only President Akufo-Addo, almost all presidents only set it up close to the end of their tenure or even after. So when that happens and they say that, okay, public workers were paid 4% over the period average. So we could have been paying you 4% on your 13,000 for 4 years.
Yeah.
That's 4% plus your termination of 2 months or something amounts to this.
Yeah.
That is not ex-gratia. Because the 4% I will get of my salary today, which you are paying me in 2025, the value would have been completely lost. But
then they should change the name from ex-gratia to something else.
no, nobody forced us to. In fact, so the next time that report appears in Parliament, we should differentiate what is actually salary adjustment and then the money being dashed to you.
Ex-gratia simply means a favor.
So yes, something you don't deserve.
If it is money that you are due for, then the designation must.
Then the name is called.
Yes, because I agree, 13,000 cedis is a lot of money.
Misleading, right?
Even the 300,000 he's talking about is a lot of money. In fact, that is half price for a cheap compound, as far as I'm concerned. So it's a lot of money that can be paid. And he says that for part-time work, he doesn't deserve that. And I think it's a debate that we should take going forward. It's not as if MPs want it. I want to be paid what I'm due. I don't want to take more than what I'm due.
In fact, it's not even what you want. It's what we want to give you. We want to pay you what you're due.
Yes, and what do you think
We don't want to give you a reward or an award. You see, and these are some of the reasons why some of you want to come into politics. So we all want to come into politics because maybe we'll get some extra.
But it's not about MPs alone. You know, DCs and everybody, judges. Of course. But the problem is that the assumption is that the politician is the lowest of the human strata in many countries. We are the butt of every joke. So even if you give a politician 1 CD, they think it's not worth it. But guess what? Politicians are not all just scumbags taking from the public purse without providing. Some of them actually provide jobs in their private life. Some of the interventions we make, timely interventions, would have been a choice between life and death for somebody. And today, if I wake up and see a lot of kids in school, because it's a rainy season, in some communities, together with my community, because we have provided some shelter and other things for me, politics is a force for good. But as there are bad MPs, bad politicians, there may be evil journalists, there may be atrocious doctors, there may be catastrophic judges or lying judges, so can there be bad politicians. So the evil of this country is not residing only with elected politicians.
Include preachers.
We've heard.
Who am I to talk about?
Let me give this update. So we didn't get a chance to talk to go into this terrorism issue, but maybe another time we'll do that. Shooting at Zambrama
line.
Is that how it's pronounced?
Zambrama line.
Zambrama.
Close to Russia.
Okay, so we're told, some of you, it says Zambrama. We're told that that's not even how it's spelled. It's spelled Zabrama. So, yes.
I used to live there some years
back. So the police says a shooting at Zambrama line involving a soldier, 6 persons. Police have arrested and taken into custody a soldier, Sergeant Isaac Abe, and 2 other persons, Godfred Amegbo and Ofe Dakon, for alleged involvement in the shooting incident on the disputed piece of land at Zambrama line at the suburb of Accra, June 4, 2022. Now, the suspect, Sergeant Isaac Abe, allegedly shot and injured 4 people on the said piece of land. The victims, Ali, Ashley, Akim, Zibo, Salam Musa, and Faisal Khalid Azuma, who sustained various degrees of gunshot wounds, were sent to the Kolebu Teaching Hospital for treatment. 2 of the arrested persons, suspects, Godfred Amegbo and Ofe Dakon, who were posing as soldiers, also sustained some injuries and were sent to the Kolebu Teaching Hospital for treatment. In their statements to the police, the 2 claimed to be military personnel, but The claim has not been established by our investigations. But how long will it take for the police to establish that? You just have to call the military. Let's find out, do you have these people as your men? And it's confirmed, or maybe I don't know.
You sure you don't know?
Well, maybe I don't know. I'm not a police person, but how difficult is it for the police to confirm the identity of a military man from the military?
Yeah, but I think,
how long will it take to confirm
release, I'm sure, as we speak now,
they could have confirmed before even putting this release out. We have confirmed. They are not.
You don't take things lightly. These are men in uniform. Let them follow the process.
So should we expect another statement to confirm that they are or they are not?
Oh, but at least they give us information. They give us a lead, but they have to double check to come to that conclusion. You know what I mean? So.
Investigations
no insinuations.
And all suspects will be taken through the due process of the law. We're grateful to members of the community. Signed by Superintendent Juliana Obeng, Head of Public Affairs.
That attitude for me, I mean, this is so worrying. And they need to go into the root of the matter and make sure that those who are culpable are dealt with. You can't, that military officer as a what? Why do you go to a suburb? Was he under instruction? Who told him to go and do that?
Fighting over a piece of land.
I mean, so if you're a soldier, you can just go and do that. I mean, this is worrying. So that's why further investigation must be done for all those persons to be dealt with and all that. We should stop this show of bravado because
we'll talk about it later, especially in these times that we're talking about terrorism.
You don't want me to say anything?
No. What
it won't come to naught. Because this is not the first time people linked to government, Delta forces, whatever invisible forces, have appeared in every part of
the police statement didn't say that.
Look, the police cannot talk about invisible forces. Are you expecting me to expect the police that these are MPP tanks
in uniform? No, don't go there.
You won't say it. I will tell you that.
No, don't go
there.
It
won't get to anywhere. But the fear you must have is that the next time you are driving and a policeman stops you, is that the proper police? Will you be sure that it's not an armed robber? Because we see police people dressed in police uniform shooting at ambulance vans.
Let us not dent the image.
No, that is what you should do. Be careful.
Okay.
And it is the state's responsibility to rid the security agencies of thugs.
Kwame, let us give them the benefit of the doubt, please. Let us
Look
not
at
dent their image.
Yasu West Wagon. Up to today, nobody's
that
punished.
is different. This is
so
a new
it gives
case. Let us deal with the case.
The shoe. Walked around the compound of the house for about 10 minutes. Then he took the shoes from me, went and washed the shoes, and put them in the chop box. I was not the only one.
Yes.
Almost all my mates.
Your mates.
The first time they wore shoes was at Pembrokeshire.
We call him Prof. So he was teaching even my class. He was 1 year behind me. The teachers would call him to come and teach my class. So they hailed us, even though we were poor.
But we still have her memories. I have 3 daughters and I see her in them.
Now, on that morning, on my man, you need to be in a dead. The on pay challenge.
All the ministers in there. They don't change them, they don't move them. But don't let's turn this into a discussion.
Chairman Rollins told me that I can go and live on top of a tree. I should move out of that house. So I came and told my wife. She said, look, let's move and go and find some top of the tree to live in.
Are you tired as a consumer in Ghana when it comes to issues that confront you as a consumer? Worry no more. Coffee Capital, I'm here to give you the information, all that you need to make sure that your right is protected as a consumer. We have too many laws and agencies that should protect the right of the consumer. I'm here to give you the information that will help and assist you to get goods and services delivered to you without any worries. Watch The Capital Show on Metro TV.
The world has seen a lot of evolution in recent times. Global network facilitated by trade continues to grow stronger and forge nations closer together.
On International Trade Focus, we'll share with you the current industry, tech and commercial avenues turning the world's trade wheel. This is your gateway to international business connections and trading events. Get the inside views, vital information, trends and analysis on emerging trade giants in Ghana and beyond. International Trade Focus, the global television trade showcase, transcending barriers in creativity and innovation. Join me, Anna Spiel, as I give you a whole menu of international trade activities. International Trade Focus, your timely business hub. International Trade Focus is brought to you by GOL, ADB, Pediastic Valley Resorts and Public Elegance.
All right, you're welcome back. It's time for GMG Trends, and the trends man is in Starboy.
Honey, good morning.
Good morning.
Good?
Good. Very
Great.
good.
So this morning we're going to talk about Togbe Aperde and his guest.
Say that again.
Aperde. Aperde. You know, as an airway boy, I've mentioned the name Aperde. So talk about him, and then we get to talk about welcome to GH. Something is trending. Now, welcome to GH, where town councils, tankers. So Annie should be thinking about her. So I'll ask her. And then over the weekend, something great happened at the Elwak Sports Stadium. It was the media games. Metro TV played second. I warmed up, but Coach Osei said, no, I won't play. I no good talk. Let's start with talk about there. Now, yesterday, after the statement that he put out, giving some clarifications as to the reason why he returned the ex-gratia that he received as being a member of the Council of State. Well, a lot of reactions have been coming on social media. This one says, good exemplary life from Togbe Aperde. Let others follow. Okay, Sister goes with that on Twitter. And Kwejo Kusio says, good decision by Togbe Aperde, but he should also return the previous ones he took in the past to complete the respect.
Oh.
Mr. Billy says, the issue of excessive reward of political officers must be checked. Togbe has taken this bold step. How about the others we've not heard of at all? Okay, some people, hey, if you do too, they will talk. God bless Togbe. If only our politicians could be this selfless, Ghana would be like Dubai. Amen. Oh, Restful Kingsley said it that in. And this one says that Togbe has demonstrated true statesmanship and leadership. I hope the rest will have a little remorse and do same. God bless you, Togbe, for such affection. See, this thing that Togbe has done it. Then the others.
Charlie, you'll be itching in your shoes.
Charlie, you think whether you should return it also or not. But I mean, he's trending on social media, and lots of people are commending him for that gesture. Now, welcome to GH is also trending on Twitter. So it's just basic stuff like welcome to Ghana, where the so lots of people are sending that on Twitter. Let's check that one out. This one says that welcome to Ghana, where a national asset is part of someone's last will. Greedy man indeed. Oh, Charlie, by you, why? Kweku Sefas bringing that one in, and Kevin says that welcome to Ghana, where dating is a source of income for most girls. Oh. By you. Abasema. This one says, this is interesting. Says, welcome to Ghana, where we take in ice cream with both fruits, popularly known as Togbe. Really. But also mine, welcome to Ghana, where people take energy drink with tea bread.
Welcome to Ghana, where people see flood in a swimming pool.
Yeah, that one today. I need time for that. In bars. So that is also trending on Twitter. You can add yours. So quickly, let's wrap up with the media games over the weekend. I was on the field. I did my exercise and all of that, but our Cochito said they didn't select me. But congratulations to Original TV, our sister station. They came in second, and Metro TV was third. So you see that on your screen right now. This was the game. Our players in there trying to do their own thing. And you see Coach Osei screaming at them, telling them to do all of that. Yeah. So that's my training. I was doing my warm up. You see me there. Yeah. I was ready for the game. But Cochito says, no, you not filled me. But no worries. I don't get anything to talk. So that was it. It was at the Elwak Sports Stadium. We beat TV3 and some other media houses and got to the semis. We lost. And then original TV, that's what you say there. But there was an interesting thing. Annie, look at this ball. Look at this. This was the penalty we played.
No, that was
Ebo played that penalty. He was the captain in the final. The referee says it wasn't a penalty.
That was a goal. It crossed the line, didn't
Look
it?
at this.
No, it crossed the line.
The referee said it wasn't a penalty. It wasn't a goal.
Clearly cleared the ball from his back.
Look at that. Just look at that. Just look at that. Behind the line. See where the linesman is. It says no goal. We accepted in good faith because we will not get onto the field and all of those things. Yeah, so we became second and
you couldn't protest.
We had VAR, but that was on the camera later. The referee had closed the game. But big shouts to everybody at Metro and Original TV for coming out on that day. It was amazing at the stadium. Yeah. You know, we had so much fun from the Jama to everything. Big shouts
other media houses.
Yeah, they were also there. Big shouts to Osei Kochito. He led the team. The sports team, Johnny, Michael, the Moomin was the team manager. He did so well. And also to Nanaya, to Steven, everybody, myself, number one cheerleader.
Nanaya was the cheerleader.
Oh, she was the bank ruler for that day. So on that note, that's how I wrap up the trends today. My name is Desifredian, the Starboy. I'll be back tomorrow. Of course, it's the birthday month. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Throw the party. And you go.
When is your birthday?
16. That's a week from Thursday.
But that reminds me, let me do this a quick one before we go. Sam George's mother is celebrating her birthday. And she is Gladys George. A happy birthday to her. May her years be many and her joys bountiful. Many she reap all the rewards for her labor. Her children and grandchildren love her dearly. And that is coming from Sam George.
Hey.
Sam George.
Okay, please let me Sam George work.
Sam George's mom. I'm sorry. Happy birthday to you, Mrs. George. So that's it we have for you.
Yeah, that's it for today.
Thanks for watching. Morning.
Got into the house, made me put my legs into the shoe, walked around the compound of the house for about 10 minutes. Then he took the shoes from me, went and washed the shoes, and put them in the chop box. I was not the only one.
Yes.
Almost all my mates.
Your mates.
The first time they wore shoes was at Pembrokeshire.
We call him Prof. So he...
Metro TV. Insightful and inspiring moments.
Few days ago, videos of a crawling young lady living with animals in a muddy structure surfaced on social media. Mamiya, as I later got to know, has been isolated by her family. She lives here meters apart from where her other siblings live.
Mamiya.